Camp America is full of fun experiences, all based in the US, but like every big adventure, there are some unexpected surprises. We asked some of our staff at the Camp America office about little fears they encountered before and during camp. And spoiler, they all lived to tell the tale. Just. Welcome to Camp America's Camp Fears. Tell me about your scariest story while you were at camp.
Well, I think, for me, the scariest thing about going to camp were the portion sizes. I never really knew what food was until I went to America. The portion sizes they gave me were probably double my own body weight. They were massive.
Sounds terrifying. What happened next?
Well, I ended up absolutely loving it.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever eaten so much food in my whole life. I never went hungry at camp. All the food was delicious. The variety that we had was unreal. And now I just want to eat American food all the time.
so it wasn't scary?
No, it wasn't scary. It was the best thing to happen to me all summer.
So tell me about your scariest story while you were at camp.
Well, when I got to the States, I was pretty confident there were going to be some big culture shocks and differences to Australia. But probably the biggest surprise were the size of the gaps in the toilets when everybody would just walk past and see you or other people doing their thing.
Sounds terrifying, having strangers know you're doing your thing. Does it still haunt you to this day?
Definitely doesn't haunt me to this day. It's just a bit of a funny thing about camp and about the States, and everyone just kind of laughed it off. It was definitely not that scary.
So it was not scary one bit?
No, not at all. It was a laugh.
So, Joe, tell me about your scariest camp experience.
Well, I thought my sarcasm was top tier, but apparently Americans just don't get it. And, you know, here in the UK, you make a joke and you usually get like a nod of approval or at least a smirk or a laugh, but in the States, that doesn't happen.
Sounds like an extremely embarrassing situation. Did it make you want to leave camp?
Well, thinking about it, no. You know, we spent all day, every day with each other. We became best friends, and the campers and the American staff, they got to know our personalities, and they started making some UK jokes too. It was good fun.
So, not scary?
No, not at
Not
all.
a single bit?
Not a single bit.
Okay, you better have a scary story. The last few have been questionable.
Yeah, well, I was quite scared going into camp about how enthusiastic Americans could be and, you know, just quite how loud they talk sometimes.
Fear of loud noises. That sounds terrifying. How did you cope?
Well, actually, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and once I kind of got used to all of the loud noises, I was one of the loudest ones at camp myself. And I think that's the really important thing, just throwing yourself into it and not being afraid to be your true self and speak up.
So it wasn't scary at all?
It wasn't scary at all.
Not a single bit?
No.
Okay, please tell me about a camp fear, because the rest of them have not been scary whatsoever.
My camp fears. Well, I guess I was pretty scared about being homesick while I was at camp. You know, just like missing out on stuff back home with friends and stuff, you know.
FOMO, huh? Yes, very scary. I bet you regretted going to camp. I bet it was horrible.
Well, Actually, it went a little something like this. By the second day, I'd forgotten about home. Mum, who? I didn't get homesick at camp. I got camp sick when I left.
So yet again, it wasn't scary.
Not at all.
Not a single bit. Not a tiny little bit about it was scary.
Not at all.
Right, okay. I know where this is going, but still, tell me about a camp fear you had before going to camp.
My biggest fear before going to camp was not being on my phone. I was scared I was going to miss out on seeing friends and not being able to catch up with family. So I was quite scared of not being able to keep in touch with people back at home.
That sounds like a very scary fear. How did you, how did you cope with it? Did you end up giving up with camp?
It was difficult at first, but the best thing was being at camp. There was lots of activities to do. I was really immersed with talking to people, learning new things about people, and learning a lot of new activities like archery, zip lining. So it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it.
So you're saying being outdoors was a sort of good detox to getting away from technology?
Being outside was a great detox of getting away from my phone, being immersed in the environment, and experience a lot of like American culture.
And let me guess, not scary.
It was not scary at all.
I know this isn't going to be scary, but tell me one camp fear you had. Go.
Definitely flying solo. I was scared that I would, forget all the things that I needed, like my passport, my DBS, everything that was needed on the other end in America. Also, flying on your own for the first time on such a long haul flight, thinking like, am I going to be sitting next to someone annoying? Am I going to be like panicked? Am I going to be able... and then also landing on the other end, not knowing where I'm going. I'm in a new place, in an airport I've never been in before, and having to meet up with my camp, but obviously I'm in a terminal I've never been in. I don't know where I'm going. So definitely that.
Sounds awful, sounds scary. Did it ruin your whole experience? I guess it's not, but...
Absolutely not at all. It turned out that I was sitting next to two people who were also going to camp, not my camp, but camp in general. So we had so much to talk about. I felt completely calm the entire flight. We ended up watching the same movies together. And then I got down on the other end in the terminal and I met up with everybody from camp straight away. We had a designated place to meet. And then it turned out in the queues for customs to get through on the other end, I actually bumped into someone who was going to my camp. So we walked through customs together. We walked to the place where we needed to meet our camp to get on the shuttle bus to go straight to camp. And I just felt completely at ease.
So it was a great experience.
It was a great experience.
So, that's it. A few fears that turned out to be no big deal. If anything, it sounds like they made the camp experience even more memorable. So, who knows? Maybe the things you were nervous about will end up being some of the best parts.